Our next session is designed to understand how to master the skills needed for data analytics. I'm super excited to introduce our industry expert, Mr. Rajat Khatri. Mr. Khatri is an analytics leader with over 16 years of experience in the field of data analytics, data science, and business intelligence. He is currently working as an assistant vice president of business intelligence at Ferns and Petals. He has also formerly worked for companies like Fractal Analytics, EXL Indictus, Housing.com, Macan.com, and Cactus Communication. Mr. Khatri has delivered guest lectures related to data analytics at many colleges and business schools. He has also been an esteemed speaker at events conducted by Adobe, Snowflakes, and other major companies. Mr. Khatri is also a happiness coach and the author of best-selling book titled 10 Keys to Attain Happiness, which is based on data-backed research. This book is available to buy from Amazon via the link available in the chat for our audience today. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Khatri. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Tamisha, and a very good morning to all the listeners here. I think it becomes my responsibility now that for the next 60 minutes, I should add so much of a value that you all feel that it was worth staying here and listening to me. So my attempt would stay that, let's make this session very engaging. Let everyone listen carefully and then answer the questions. I'll try to make it very simple so that each and every student here can understand what is data analytics, how it is being used. More importantly, what all changes in the mindset or the way we have to look at the problem, how that has to be addressed. Because extracting data or creating a dashboard or doing a data science, this is secondary. This is really secondary. At the end of the day, no CEO, no CMO has a time to see the dashboard that you have created. The only thing that they want an answer to is, okay, why this business metrics is improving or why this business metrics is declining and what are the major reasons for that, right? And if someone can give a summary of this in the 2 to 3 minutes, that serves the purpose. But to do that, there has to be a lot of hard work that goes in the past, right? And so that's what I'll tell you. I tried to take myself 16 years in the past when I was a fresher in this field of data analytics, and what all I have learned in 16 years, I just tried to create one slide on that. Don't worry, my presentation is not more than 16 slides. It's much lesser. And so before we begin, I want you guys to know more about me. And that's why in the chat, I'm just putting my LinkedIn profile also. So you can just check that I'm a very genuine leader with all the experience that I have, right? And as during the introduction, they said that, I'm also a happiness coach and the author, and that is more like a personal side of me. And it's very critical when you have to grow in your life to know what your strengths are or what you want to do. So I do data analytics basis my profession, but I do happiness coaches basis my personal growth, right? And therefore, I'm once again just putting the link of my book as well in the chat window. And just in case you are interested in reading that, I'm sure that will be very useful for living a very happy life. हेलो सर, स्पीक इन हिंदी. ठीक है जी, मैं हिंदी में भी बोल सकता हूँ एंड आई मेक श्योर कि थोड़ी हिंदी थोड़ी इंग्लिश दोनों चल रही है. ठीक है, आई एम जस्ट शेयरिंग माय presentation and let me know if you can see that, so that
yes, we can.
You can see that, and I have just put that into a full slide mode now, right? I assume even that is visible.
Yeah, that is visible as well.
Great. So let's get started. Before that, a quick question to each and every one of you, who all are super interested in knowing that, how can you be a data analytics enthusiast? आप data world में कैसे तबाही मचा सकते हो? क्या आपके mindset में चीजें होनी चाहिए? If you can just send a yes, interested, hands up, whatever in the chat window. यार ये जो हिंदी वाली रिक्वेस्ट आ रही है ना बार बार, ये थोड़ी सी चैलेंजिंग हो गई है, क्योंकि डायलॉग डिलीवरी मैंने रेडी की हुई है इंग्लिश में, और अब आप लास्ट मिनट में कह रहे हो कि उसको चेंज करना है, बट ठीक है, आई ट्राई माय बेस्ट.
I
ओके.
think you can balance between both now.
Sure, sure, sure. But I am super interested that there are so many messages coming. Awesome. Thank you so much, people. That means everyone is awake, right? And on a holiday morning, अगर मैं किसी का टाइम ले रहा हूँ तो of course उनका उनका इंटरेस्ट लेवल भी हाई होना चाहिए, और मेरा उससे भी हाई होना चाहिए. एक कोई कह रहा है कि तमिल में बोलें. सर तमिल तो मेरे को आती भी नहीं है, मैं पंजाबी में बोल सकता हूँ अगर आप समझ सकते हो तो. ठीक है, चलिए शुरू करते हैं. So let's start with this, that okay, what it takes to be a great data analyst. आप एक बहुत बढ़िया डेटा एनालिस्ट कैसे बन सकते हैं? क्या आप सिर्फ कुछ कोर्सेज करके, आर या पाइथन सीख के, टैबलो सीख के, गूगल एनालिटिक्स सीख के आपको लगता है कि आप डेटा एनालिस्ट बन सकते हैं? मेरा थोड़ा सा उसमें एक शक है, और मेरे पास मेरी कंपनी में देयर आर सो मेनी पीपल हु कम अप फॉर इंटरव्यूज. और ऐसा ही होता है कि वो एक अच्छे कॉलेज से उन्होंने अपना डेटा साइंस का कोर्स किया होता है या डेटा एनालिटिक्स का कोर्स किया होता है, तो वो इंटरव्यू के लिए आते हैं. एंड देन व्हेन वी ट्राई टू गॉज कि उनका कितना क्यूरियस है, वी जस्ट फाइंड इट कि मतलब वो शायद दे आर जस्ट स्टार्टिंग. यहाँ तक कि कुछ लोगों की मैंने ऐसे भी इंटरव्यू ली है जिनको इंडस्ट्री में 5 साल 7 साल यहाँ तक कि 10 साल भी हो चुके हैं. उनका मानना ये है कि मैं एक्सेल का एक्सपर्ट हूँ, मैं टैबलो का एक्सपर्ट हूँ, मैं एसक्यूएल का एक्सपर्ट हूँ. और जब उनसे कोडिंग करवाते हैं, डैशबोर्ड बनवाते हैं, वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन जब उनसे ये पूछते हैं कि ये डैशबोर्ड क्यों बना था, क्या क्या इनसाइट्स दिख रही हैं इसमें से, क्या स्टोरी लाइन दिख रही है, तो मतलब उनको कुछ आंसर ही नहीं होता उनके पास. दे आर क्लूलेस कि ये चीज क्यों बनाई गई. And this is what is actually the most important thing to be a data analyst, to understand ki why these things are, why this data is being asked for, or why this dashboard is being asked for. तो मेरे अकॉर्डिंगली अगर आपको डेटा एनालिस्ट बनना है ना, तो आपको 3 डोमेन्स को बहुत अच्छे से समझना पड़ेगा, जिसमें से फर्स्ट डोमेन है कि आपकी डेटा अंडरस्टैंडिंग बहुत अच्छी होनी चाहिए. ईच एंड एवरी वेरिएबल, उस वेरिएबल में क्या वैल्यूज हैं, ये आपको बहुत अच्छे से पता होना चाहिए. लेट मी जस्ट टेक एन एग्जाम्पल. मान लेते हैं कि आप क्रिकेट एंथुजियास्ट हैं. My quick question, how many of you actually understand the world of cricket? If you like cricket, if you understand कि cricket के metrics क्या होते हैं, then I think you can very well correlate with this. Yeah, now few people are asking for English, others are asking for Hindi. तो थोड़ा challenging होगा. Great, but so many people are saying yes, they know cricket. Okay, awesome. So let's assume now I give you a project that you need to predict that, okay, who would be the playing 11 for the forthcoming World Cup. ठीक है, और उसके लिए मैं आपको एक फाइल देता हूं जिसके अंदर अराउंड 500 वेरिएबल्स. There are 500 variables related to each and every ball being bowled in the history to any of these batsmen. And let's assume you understand only 10 or 15 or 20 variables, but rest 400 metrics का आपको पता भी नहीं है. Then it just becomes very tough for you to use that data and then create something very, very meaningful with that. So therefore, as soon as you step into any industry, or as soon as you step into any project, first of all, understand each and every data that is provided to you. There could be 20 fields, there could be 50 fields, there could be 100 fields, there could be just 5 fields. But you should be very careful about what each field means and what are the various values, how clean that value is. So your data understanding has to be like 100 on 100. You guys with me? The second thing that is needed in is basically your technical knowledge. And when I say technical knowledge, this is exactly what I said, that you might be very good with SQL, you might be very good with Tableau, you might be very, very good with Excel, which is brilliant, and you need to have that. So for example, you might understand the data, but you don't know how to write a SQL code to process it. Then of course you cannot become a good data analyst or a data scientist. So your technical knowledge has to be very accurate. And the third thing that is needed is your aptitude to solve the problem. Now, this is the key thing. Let's assume I ask you that, okay, guys, so you are the business analyst in my company. And I asked you that, guys, why was the conversion rate down yesterday, right? Now you might see a lot of data, you might extract a lot of data, and you tell me that, this conversion rate is less on, say, mobile devices. This is less because people were not moving from one page to another, which is okay, right? But you're not solving the problem. You're not trying to understand why this is happening, right? Now, this why is basically what is the most critical part, and that is how you have to break the problem. So this has to be your aptitude of solving any business problem, right? Okay, and the mixture of these three things is actually what makes a successful data analyst or a data scientist, for that matter. Right. So let's now move to the things that I want to tell you, that what is an analyst mindset, right? How can you just grow well in your career, right? I totally understand that you guys are undergoing some kind of courses, and you are learning the tools and the techniques. But over and above that, how do you solve this problem is what I'm going to tell you in the next 5 to 7 slides. Okay, before that, I think on chat, there are people saying Hindi, English. Let's just come to a conclusion first. What exactly is needed? Hindi or English, dono bhashaon. Okay, take it. I think most of the people are just trying for both Hindi and English, or what I can do is I'll speak a sentence in English और उसके बाद उसको हिंदी में भी translate कर लूँ, ठीक है? पर इसका दुगना लगान लगेगा कुछ, ठीक है? All right. ठीक है. And so many messages on the chat. I am actually closing the chat now. Otherwise, that will just distract me. Right. So guys, now just be with me for the next 15 to 20 minutes, because I have actually taken a lot of time to come to these kind of slides. I think these things not many people will be able to tell you. बहुत सारे लोग आपको ये चीजें नहीं बता पाएंगे. वो आपको टैबलो सिखा सकते हैं, एसक्यूएल सिखा सकते हैं, डेटा को कैसे रीड करना है वो सिखा सकते हैं, लेकिन करना क्या है उस डेटा का वो बहुत कम लोग सिखा सकते हैं. और आई थिंक आज की डेट में इंडस्ट्री में जरूरत इसी चीज की है कि व्हाट आर वी गोइंग टू डू विद दिस डेटा. So the first mindset that you need to have is you need to question the status quo. May I just ask you, what exactly do we mean by status quo? Any one of you जिसको पता हो कि status quo होता क्या है? What exactly is the status quo? What do you mean by challenging the status quo? स्टेटस्कोप नहीं दीक्षिता जी. ओके, ठीक है. स्टेटस को होता है किसी भी एग्जिस्टिंग नंबर को चैलेंज करना. देखिए होता क्या है, लेट्स अज्यूम आई आस्क यू दैट ओके हाउ मच मार्क्स डिड यू स्कोर इन योर स्कूल डेज, एंड यू से दैट 70%. अब एक माइंडसेट बन जाता है कि यार मेरे 5th में भी 70% थे, 6th में 71 थे, 7th में 72 थे, उसके बाद 68 थे, तो मतलब मैं एक एवरेज स्टूडेंट हूँ, 70% मार्क्स इज व्हाट आई गेट. Right? And then we start living with it. On an average, मेरे तो 70% के आसपास ही मार्क्स आते हैं. We never challenge that status quo. Challenging here means कि okay, let me uplift myself and move to a level where I can score 75 or 80%. Similarly, in the business, as soon as you go into any of the organizations, so let's assume I am working in an e-commerce portal, and we see these numbers, and let's assume we say that कि प्रोडक्ट्स डिलीवरी टेक्स अप्रोक्सीमेटली 1 आवर, कि जोमेटो को 45 मिनट्स लिखते हैं प्रोडक्ट बेचने में, Amazon के प्रोडक्ट्स नेक्स्ट डे डिलीवर होते हैं, फ्लिपकार्ट भी नेक्स्ट डे और उसके नेक्स्ट डे होता है. बट देन समवन थॉट कि यार व्हाई नेक्स्ट डे, इफ आई कैन गो टू अ शॉप एंड ब्रिंग द प्रोडक्ट्स इन 10 मिनट्स, व्हाई कैन इट बी डिलीवर्ड टू माय हाउस इन 10 मिनट्स. सो दैट इज हाउ यू चैलेंज द स्टेटस को कि नहीं यार, देयर इज एन इंडस्ट्री और देयर इज a different way of looking into this business mechanism, and let me just challenge that and see now how can I deliver this product in say 30 minutes. Probably it started with that Domino's wala thing, कि Domino's can deliver their own products in 30 minutes. तो ठीक है यार, maybe grocery भी 30 minutes में deliver हो सकती है. So that is how the Blinkits and the Zeptos and everyone were born, and they said that, okay, let's start with the 30-minute thing. And then they realized this, all the data, and they saw that probably we are delivering it in 20 minutes itself, which is a huge thing. And then they challenged themselves, why even 20 minutes, right? The problem they are solving is that I have already kept tea on the gas, and that's when I realized there's no sugar at home. घर में चीनी ही नहीं है, अब मुझे चीनी चाहिए, तो क्या होगा? या तो मैं गैस बंद करूंगा, किसी को घर में भेजूंगा कि जाओ जी शॉप से चीनी लेके आओ. But can there be a business where I can just order and it can come in the next 5 to 7 or 10 minutes? Yes, it is possible. So that is how this is done. Similarly, you guys need to challenge each and every number as soon as you go to a business and you start seeing the metrics. And let's assume आप कहें कि जी हर महीने की सेल लगभग 30 करोड़ की होती है, तो 30 करोड़ की क्यों, 50 करोड़ की क्यों नहीं हो सकती? क्या मार्केटिंग स्पेंड बढ़ाने की जरूरत है? क्या हमें डिलीवरी बढ़ाने की जरूरत है? क्या हमें पार्टनर्स बढ़ाने की जरूरत है? क्या हमें जिन जिन सिटीज में ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं उसको बढ़ाने की जरूरत है? दैट इज हाउ यू विल स्टार्ट लुकिंग एट द डेटा, एंड दैट इज हाउ यू कैन क्रिएट एन अपॉर्चुनिटीज. एंड देन यू से कि सर ये जो आप धंधा आज की डेट में कर रहे हो, रोज का 1 करोड़ का 2 करोड़ का, ये एक्चुअली बढ़ के रोज का 1.5 करोड़ या 2 करोड़ हो सकता है अगर हम ये 7 चीजों को मैनेज कर लें, right? And then you create a business plan around it, and that is how you need to share that with the business, right? Second thing is you need to know what is the right metrics. Now the image here I'm showing it as your weight, right? आप में से कितने लोग ये चाहते हैं कि योर फिटनेस लेवल शुड बी वेरी वेरी हाई? Okay, more people. You don't want to be fit? Probably everyone, right? Now what has happened is that we say that okay, fitness measure करने का right तरीका क्या होता है? Right तरीका होता है कि एक काम करते हैं, अपना weight देखते हैं, और अगर weight reduce हो रहा है तो मतलब मैं ठीक हूं, मैं fit हूं. But is that the right metrics? Answer is no, not at all. I can go to a gym and I can still gain my weight, right? Because my muscles are increasing, right? So weighing yourself is not the right metrics there. The right metrics could be that, how many push-ups can I do now, or how much long can I do a squat? The longer the duration, the fit I am. Maybe those are the right metrics, right? So this is exactly the problem that happens in the business. We sometimes say that, okay, how loyal are our customers to the business? ठीक है जी, फाइन. तो व्हाट इज द राइट मेट्रिक्स? राइट मेट्रिक्स है, काम करते हैं, रिपीट रेट देखते हैं. तो अगर लोग वापस आ रहे हैं हर महीने या हर हफ्ते या हर साल, तो इसका मतलब कस्टमर्स तो हमारे लॉयल हैं. बट इज दैट राइट मेट्रिक्स? मे बी नो, क्योंकि शायद वो आपके पास इसलिए आ रहे हैं क्योंकि आपके अलावा मार्केट में कोई और प्लेयर है ही नहीं जो ये सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करता है. ठीक है, अब आज की डेट में अगर IRCTC कहे पूछे कि मेरे लॉयल कस्टमर्स कितने हैं, तो शायद उसको डेटा दिखेगा कि 90% लोग लॉयल हैं, क्योंकि वो तो हर साल आके ट्रेन की टिकट बुक करवाते हैं. लेकिन इज देयर एनी अदर ऑप्शन? एटलीस्ट ट्रेन जर्नी के लिए कोई और ऑप्शन नहीं, लोगों को IRCTC पे ही जाना पड़ता है, राइट? तो मे बी दे व्हाट दे नीड टू सी इज, ठीक है, नाउ दैट players like MMT or other players are coming in this thing, then what is it that now I should look at to understand the loyalty of my customers? तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. और कई बार क्या होता है ना, आप जब कंपनीज को ज्वाइन करेंगे, when you will join an organization, people will just ask you, okay, I want to see the conversion rate, I want to see the traffic, I want to see the marketing spend, I want to see the visits and all those, and you will keep on preparing those kind of reports or dashboards. But probably you need to question back to the management or the stakeholder, okay, sir, what exactly is the use case and why are we measuring only, say, the visits or the conversion rate? Can there be anything else? मैं आपको एक और एग्जांपल देता हूं. होता क्या है कि वेबसाइट्स पे अब बहुत सारी चेंजेस करते रहते हैं, राइट? तो लेट्स अज्यूम आपने जोमेटो की ऐप खोली. अब आपने देखा होगा कि पिछले एक हफ्ते में जोमेटो का जो होम पेज है वो थोड़ा सा बदल गया है, कुछ उन्होंने नए फीचर्स ऐड किए. ठीक है, तो अब जिसने ये फीचर्स लॉन्च किए होंगे वो डेफिनेटली पूछेगा कि ओके, नाउ दैट दीज फीचर्स आर लॉन्च्ड, व्हाट इज द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ दैट? ठीक है, तो आम बिजनेसेस क्या करते हैं, दे जस्ट सी कि 7 दिन पहले कितना बिजनेस हुआ, 7 दिन बाद कितना बिजनेस हुआ, और अगर उसमें बिजनेस में ग्रोथ हुई तो जी सर क्या बात है, बहुत बढ़िया फीचर यूज हो रहा है, क्योंकि धंधा तो बढ़ गया, 7% 8% धंधा बढ़ गया इससे, एंड एवरीवन इज हैप्पी एंड दे विल बी congratulating each other, they'll be celebrating that it's a great feature. बट किसी ने कभी ये चेक ही नहीं किया कि उस फीचर का यूसेज कितना हो रहा है. तो लेट्स अज्यूम अगर जोमेटो प्राइम या क्या कहते हैं उसको, जोमेटो प्रो को लॉन्च किया गया है, और अगर लोग उसको एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं कर रहे हैं, लेकिन बिजनेस इसलिए बढ़ा क्योंकि मे बी अचानक से नॉर्थ में दिल्ली सर्दी बढ़ गई और लोगों ने सोचा कि नहीं यार आज तो बाहर का खाना खाते हैं, या वीकेंड आ गया, लोग कहते बाहर का खाना खा रहे हैं और ऑर्डर बढ़ गए, और लोग इसी बात पे खुश हैं जोमेटो वाले कि नहीं यार एक्सेप्टेंस बढ़ गई. तो ऑलवेज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द राइट मेट्रिक्स एंड हाउ यू वांट टू गॉज द सक्सेस ऑफ दैट. यू विद मी? Am I making sense? Is it boring? Is it interesting? Thank you, Sachin. Thanks,
So many
Ramesh.
likes and hearts for you already.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. I'm moving to the next one now. Right? So the next mindset is basically have the right definition in mind. Okay, I was giving this example of the repeat rate, repeat purchase rate. This is a very, very common metrics in any business, right? So let's assume Zomato, Amazon, Flipkart, Swiggy, Ola, Uber, Ferns and Petals, and Ajio, and whatever. There are so many e-commerce portals these days. They are definitely measuring this, that what is the repeat rate of the customer, which means कि अगर पिछले साल मेरे पास 100 कस्टमर्स आए थे, there were 100 customers who came to me last year, how many of them have come back this year? And let's assume this number is 50. So they say कि मेरा repeat rate is 50%, यानी कि मैं हर साल अगर 100 customers को acquire करता हूं, उसमें से अगले साल 50 लोग फिर भी मेरे पास आते हैं. Now this is a very standard definition that is being used. But now, is this the right definition to understand again the loyalty or the success of a business? Answer is no, because depending upon business to business, there should be a variable for the duration as well. Zomato आप शायद हफ्ते में 3 से 4 बार यूज करते होंगे, राइट? ऑन एन एवरेज 2 बार तो करते ही होंगे, इतना मेरा मानना है. तो शायद जोमेटो को रिपीट रेट देखने की जरूरत है पर वीक. कहने का मतलब कि कितनी परसेंट जनता जो इस साल जिन्होंने ऑर्डर किया इसी हफ्ते उसमें से दोबारा भी ऑर्डर किया, तो शायद उनका रिपीट रेट एक हफ्ते के लिए है. लेकिन Amazon और फ्लिपकार्ट शायद उनका वीकली भी हो सकता है और मंथली भी हो सकता है, लेकिन उससे बड़ा नहीं होना चाहिए, राइट? कंपनीज लाइक अस, लाइक फर्न्स एंड पेटल्स, वी आर इनटू गिफ्टिंग, राइट? हमारा मानना ये है कि गिफ्ट आप हर मतलब ठीक है, आप वैसे तो हर ओकेजन पे भेजते हैं, पर शायद ऑनलाइन गिफ्ट आप सिर्फ उन रिलेटिव्स को भेजते हैं जो दूसरे शहर में, आपके अपने आसपास की फैमिली या आसपास के फ्रेंड्स को नहीं, क्योंकि उनको तो हम मिलकर गिफ्ट दे ही देते हैं. हालांकि वी आर ट्राइंग टू गेट इनटू दैट स्पेस एज वेल, लेकिन अभी के लिए फर्न्स एंड पेटल्स इज अबाउट कि ठीक है, मेरे पेरेंट्स मेरे होम टाउन में रहते हैं, मैं दूसरे शहर में रहता हूँ, उनकी एनिवर्सरी है, लेट मी सेंड अ गिफ्ट. और ऐसा ओकेजन साल में या 6 महीने में एक बार आता है, तो हम अपना रिपीट रेट साल के बेसिस पे देखते हैं. कितने लोग ऐसे थे जिन्होंने पिछले साल राखी पे फर्न्स एंड पेटल्स के थ्रू अपने ब्रदर्स को राखी भेजी है, और उसमें से कितने लोग अगली राखी पे वापस आए हैं. सो दैट इज व्हाट आवर डेफिनेशन ऑफ अ रिपीट रेट इज. But for any other businesses, it could be weekly, it could be daily also, or it could be as good as annually. Now, a quick question to you, right? Just listen to this question very, very clearly. How should WhatsApp understand the repeat rate? At what parameter? Should it be weekly or monthly or any other duration? Give me your answers in the chat window, please. Daily, hourly, good, nice. Per day, weekly, daily basis, daily, very nice, very nice, awesome. Daily use, very good, very nice. Every second, okay, I like that. Daily, per minute, weekly, daily. Okay, thank you so much, guys. So that means first thing is confirmed that you are listening to me. So it's not that I'm just speaking like a lecturer. And you are absolutely right. I might have want to see it hourly, or I might max to max see it at a daily level, that how many people are coming back every day on my portal. Great, awesome. Let me give you one more example. How frequently should Amazon Music check the repeat rate? Amazon Music or Ghana or Spotify, any of them? Daily, weekly, every hour, monthly, weekly, per day. Good. I think they should also see their repeat rate, if not daily, at least at a weekly level. But I think daily can also work. However, I have my own concerns that maybe the repeat rate is not very high over the weekends. क्योंकि मैं ये सभी apps during traveling to work I listen to them. पर क्योंकि Saturday Sunday मैं जाता ही नहीं कहीं, तो शायद मैं उस दिन app भी नहीं खोलता. But yeah, maybe I can just check this number on a weekly basis कि weekly repeat कितना है. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, guys, for very actively engaging with me, and I'll keep on asking these such questions. Okay. Okay, one more question now. What were the earlier two mindsets that I've talked about? Do you remember that? Anyone noted it? Or are you guys just listening? Okay, thanks. Great. Awesome. Shubham Verma. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. So guys, just keep on taking the notes. See, the idea of these sessions is always to have some notes with you and revisit those notes at least for the next 3 days. Then only you can remember this. And then you can even use this whenever you go and work in your organizations, right? All right, I'm moving to the next thing now. All right, so the next mindset is basically the 80-20 rule, right? Now what happened is, let me just go back 16 years. It was my first project, and that project was with Visa credit cards as a company. They said, Rajat, we want to understand, right, how much spends are happening at each of our merchants, right? And now when I extracted the data at a merchant level, there were millions and millions of merchants. Just to give you an example, so let's assume Indian Oil के petrol pump पे जाके आप petrol डलवाते हैं और Visa card use करते हैं, right? Now that will be an entry, but it won't be written as Indian Oil. It will be written as, let's assume, Indian Oil Sona Road, Gurgaon. Then there's Indian Oil Chennai, Indian Oil Kolkata Kasam area, Indian Oil Saket Delhi, Indian Oil Sector 56 Gurgaon, Indian Oil Ludhiana, Indian Oil Model Town Ludhiana, Indian Oil Model Town Extension Ludhiana. ऐसे करके there was a huge list. That was such a high list कि हमें we used to search for Indian Oil, extract करते थे Excel में, क्योंकि Excel फट जाता उस वक्त, उसकी इतनी लिमिट भी नहीं होती थी, तो उसको वहां पे क्लीन करने की कोशिश करते थे. Now what happened was, जब हमने ये देखा, there were around, I vaguely remember there were around 9.8 million rows का एक बार डेटा हमने एक्सट्रैक्ट किया. अब हमने कहा यार इसको how can we clean it? It's so huge. हमारा ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जो था, एग्रीमेंट जो था कंपनी के साथ, वो 3 महीने का था, और हमें लग रहा था कि सिर्फ डेटा क्लीनिंग को ही 3 महीने लग जाएंगे. when we will do the project, so we had to think about what is the best strategy now that we can adapt. And what we did is, on the basis of the revenue or the number of orders, we just sorted the data, and we realized that if I just clean the first 1 million rows, I'll be able to clean 87% of my revenue or orders, right? Now this makes so much of a sense. Instead of 9.8 million of a data, which I have to extract in different Excels and then clean, then upload, let me just extract this data in one go in one Excel and just clean the top 87% of my merchants. और वो cleaning भी easy है, क्योंकि अब 9.8 की बजाय तो just 1 million पे काम करना है, और it will take much lesser time. So we use that strategy, and we started cleaning that data and started tagging that कि okay, जिसमें भी Indian Oil आ रहा है उसको Indian Oil लिखते हैं, जिसमें भी McDonald's आ रहा है उसको McDonald's लिखते हैं, जो भी ऐसे ब्रांड हमें बड़ी बड़ी वैल्यूज दिखती रही टॉप से, उसको सर्च करके उसको क्लीन करते रहे, और हमने एक मेजर टैग बना दिया मर्चेंट का नाम ढूंढने के लिए, and that is how we could give this data. Plus we sent this information to the client as well, where we said that we are actually working on 87% of the data and not 100% of the data. Otherwise, if you want 100% cleanliness, this contract has to be extended to 6 months, which means you need to give us more money. And more or less every business, every client, everyone understand this thing that, even if my data is 85-90% clean, I think I can go ahead and do any analysis on that. So always remember this thing, that you go with the 80-20 rule. You need not clean 100% of the data until unless it's a very small segment that you're working on, or small data set. But otherwise, even if your data is 85%, 90% accurate, and you know that, this I can trust this. ये कॉस्ट अकाउंटिंग तो हमने करनी नहीं होती कि यार एक एक चवन्नी का हिसाब लोगों को देना है. इट्स अबाउट बिजनेस एनालिटिक्स. कहने का मतलब ये है कि यार 50% ऑफ माय पॉपुलेशन इज मेल, राइट. अब वो 50 का 51% है या 49% है, उससे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, डिसीजन वही रहेगा. हाँ, ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि 50% की बजाय सिर्फ 30% थे या 80% मैन थे, राइट. So these kind of things you need to be very clear about. Don't spend a lot of time in cleaning the data which is not even needed. Just keep working on 80% of the data that will serve the purpose. Any questions here?
There are a few, but I think we can take them towards the end once you finish.
Sure. Great. All right. Okay, so I'm moving to the next one, which is be curious, right? Now, guys, if you have this mindset, I can guarantee you that you are going to be very successful in your career as a data analyst, or as a data scientist, or as a business intelligence guy, or whatever designation you will get it. This is what most of the people, they lack, right? People give this information, data analysts give this information that, sir, your conversion rate is 10%. All right, awesome. But what does it mean? Is it improving? Is it declining? Is it at par? Why is it 10%? Why not 15%? Or why not 5%? Right? From where are we getting such a huge conversion or such a less conversion? Are there some areas where I can improve it further? So you need to ask so many questions, so many whys to each and every data point that you see. To give you an example, this is exactly what it happens, right? We say that our e-commerce portal is converting at, let's assume, 10%. Now, I publish this report every day, every week, every month, and I present this to the CEOs, to the CMO, to CPO, right? And the question that comes back to me is, okay, awesome, great, Rajat, 10% we understand. You have already shown that we have improved from 8 to 10%. But then can you tell us how is it from tier 1 cities versus tier 2 cities? Can you tell us how is it desktop versus mobile versus app? Can you tell us how is it that when people land on a home page versus they're landing on a details page versus they see the product correctly? How is it that changing? Can you give us more cuts and then highlight that what are the opportunity areas that we need to improve? Right now, this kind of questions actually gives me a lot of work to do. I started learning these things around 5 to 7 years earlier when I started working directly with the CTO. And now today, instead of my boss or the CEO or the group CEO asking these questions, I tell them directly, which helps them create more trust in me that yes, this person is thinking from the business angle and he's already coming up with the answers. Otherwise, it's a to and fro. आपने एक रिपोर्ट पब्लिश की अभी, आपने मेल भेज दिया, मेल पर का रिप्लाई आया कि हे you said that conversion rate is 10%. Can I know about tier 2 cities? अब आप क्या करोगे? आप वापस जाओगे, डेटा निकालोगे, tier 2 cities कौन सी हैं, कौन सी लेनी है, किसको इंक्लूड करना है, किसको एक्सक्लूड करना है, वो सारा डेटा क्लीनिंग करते करते 2 दिन लगेंगे. 2 दिन बाद आप रिप्लाई करोगे कि सर ऑन tier 2 cities the conversion rate is 7%. ठीक है, वो मेल पढ़ेंगे, वो फिर रिप्लाई करेंगे, ओके कैन यू टेल मी which categories are not growing in tier 2 cities? फिर आप वापस जाओगे. ये टू एंड फ्रो चलता रहेगा 1 महीने, 2 महीने, 3 महीने. जबकि आप ये सोचिए कि एक सीईओ हमेशा सोच रहा होता है कि मैं क्विकली इन चीजों को कैसे फिक्स करूं, लेकिन उसको डेटा ही 2-2, 3-3 दिन बाद मिल रहा है. He's getting these answers after 2 or 3 days. And if you are not getting your answers immediately, you might not be able to expand the business. So you guys need to develop this understanding of being curious that what is it that I'm sharing with the CEO or with the product heads, product managers, marketing guys, and what kind of questions might come back to me. Am I already aware of the answers, or can I just provide those answers very quickly to them or not? Right. Moving to the next mindset, which is go deeper. There's a methodology called 5 whys. Why, and why. Right. And again, a very similar example. Let's assume you share that the cost of acquisition of a customer is 500 rupees, right? And this has gone up from 400 last year, right? Now, as soon as you will share this information with the chief marketing officer, definitely his question will come back is, okay, why? Right? So you need to find the first reason for that. And let's assume you find कि मेरा first reason ये था कि इस बार हमने बहुत ज़्यादा spends Google Ads पे किए थे और Google Ads के कारण वहां पे हमारा cost of acquisition बढ़ गया. अब वो पूछेंगे कि ठीक है, Google Ads का डिसीजन तो मेरा ही था, लेकिन मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है कि Google Ads का cost of acquisition 300 रुपए होना चाहिए, तो 500 रुपए कैसे बढ़ गया? Then you need to go to the next level at a campaign level कि Google में हमने ये 15 तरह के कैंपेन्स चलाए थे, इसमें से 12 कैंपेन्स तो बहुत अच्छे कर रहे हैं, उसमें 250-300 रुपए का हमें कैक मिल रहा है, लेकिन ये 3 कैंपेन्स ऐसे हैं जहां पे मेरा कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन जो है वो 750 के आसपास है. ठीक है, अब वो पूछेंगे, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन फिर ये आएगा कि ये 3 कैंपेन क्यों, ऐसा क्या किया है? फिर आपको उसका क्वेश्चन ढूंढना पड़ेगा कि सर ये शायद इमेजेस के साथ या वीडियोस के साथ है और इसका एक्विजिशन ऐसा ही होता है, इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड भी शायद यही कहता है. फिर नेक्स्ट की इंडस्ट्री में भी ऐसा क्यों होता है, व्हाई इज इट दैट हाई? So like this, you need to think about the next 5 whys when you talk about any one metrics and try to understand that how can you add more value, and you go with the answers whenever you're presenting any numbers to any of the stakeholders, right? I just gave an example of cost acquisition. Maybe another example could be of the bounce rate. Okay, the last thing, the last mindset that you need to have is you need to have a very good storyline, right? Now, the people who see the numbers every day, उनको तो फिर भी कुछ ना कुछ numbers याद रह जाते हैं. जैसे मेरे top of the mind है कि रोज का हमारे business की sale कितनी होती है, conversion rate कितना होता है, visits कितने आते हैं and all that, right? But what I might not always remember is all those metrics which I hear once in a month maybe. ठीक है, अब उन metrics को याद करना मेरे लिए मुश्किल है, तो मैं जिनको present करता हूँ उनके लिए तो it will be even tougher. Right? So what is the best methodology? Here I tell you an example. So if you see my screen, I've just shown a very small match summary, cricket match ka summary, right? And this is exactly how we present the data in a business also. We say कि इतने visits, इतने orders, इतना revenue, ये इसका growth rate, ये बढ़ गया, ये कम हो गया, खत्म. ठीक है? But that is not what they want to listen. They want to listen the storyline. And now this dashboard, this scorecard is basically one of the most historical matches ever in the history of cricket. And sorry, I'm coming back to cricket again and again. You can understand I'm a cricket fan. So in somewhere in March 2006, this match was played where for the first time someone scored 400 runs in an ODI, and Australia did that. And in the same match, this world record was broken by South Africa because they chased that score. Right? But this scorecard is not even highlighting those things. It's just telling that, Ricky Ponting scored a century, Gibbs scored a century, and then there's a 5 wicket from Nathan Bracken, right? And South Africa won by 1 run. It's nowhere showing that excitement or the storyline that, in the last over, 10 runs were needed. On the second ball of the last over, a 4 was hit. And then on the third ball, they lost yet another wicket. Now only 1 wicket remaining. Natini, which is one of the worst batsmen ever to play, he was facing the bowler, right? And then the most critical thing that he did was he took that very timely single in the next ball, and then very next ball, the 4 was hit. So that is what the storyline is, and this is exactly how you need to present to your management for them to remember the numbers, right? One of the key things is, yes, we create a lot of dashboards and we present it to the chief product officer, marketing officer, category heads, operation heads, and there are like 15-20 people whom we send. But once I send it in an email, no one can understand, or I cannot write such a long stories in that. No one has the time to read these in email or presentations. But when I present them once in a month, I always go story by story, and that is how people remember that, okay, this is how the product flow is happening. If I tell them that, 25% of people come on a home page and 30% further go to the listing page, no one is going to remember these numbers for long. But when I create it visually and I take them through that journey by opening the website real time and write these numbers in a very huge font, people just recollect them. And I have seen it that in the next monthly meeting, they remember, Rajat, I remember last time you showed this number as 36%. Why this number has come down to 32%? Things like that. So that is how you create storylines and you make people remember these numbers. And this is yet another mindset that you need to have. Before I move to the top tools, right? Any key pointer that you want to highlight? You're liking it, not liking it, interesting, not interesting, boring, too long, too short? Quick feedback, please.
We can see all the love pouring in.
Okay, that's awesome. Right. All right. Thank you so much, guys. I'm happy that it was interesting and you guys are listening to me and you guys are engaging. So thank you so much for being such a nice audience. And thanks to EduBridge for giving this opportunity.
Can we take
All
a
right.
few questions? I think.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, just a second, I'll share them. So the first question here was, what qualifications are required to become a data analyst?
Okay, guys. So had you have entered this industry 15, 16 or 20 years earlier, तो तब तो कोई भी ऐसा as such these things were not needed, right? आप bachelor हो, आप engineer हो, आप BCom graduate हो, आप MBA हो, सब चलता था. But now the industry has evolved and people are looking for experts. So when I hire people, there are two kind of things that I look for. One is the people who are experienced. तो उनसे तो मेरा question यही होता है कि whatever projects that we have talked about, what were some key insights that they have shared and why they think this was relevant, right? This is when I look for people in the profile of business intelligence or business analytics or data scientist. When I have to hire people who are like Tableau experts or Power BI experts, I just ask them to create a wireframe. How would they create, let's assume, a cricket scorecard, or how would they create a dashboard for, say, Amazon ka CEO, right? And then I try to understand his mindset, that what all questions is he thinking, and he's trying to create that. However, when we have to hire the freshers, and let's assume these people say that they have done some course in data science, or they have done some data analytics का या Udemy से या किसी भी और portal से we have done these courses. I always try to understand what is their hunger to be in a data industry. And second thing, I never ask them questions related to कि क्या पढ़ा क्या नहीं पढ़ा and all that. But then I give very small problem-solving problems to them, and I try to understand if they have a mindset to solve it. So it's good that you can do all these, you can learn all these languages, and it's good that you understand R, Python, and I'm going to talk about all these things. But these are not the things to be remembered the way we have, done our schooling. These things have to be practiced, and there are umpteen number of sources available online. You will get a data, you can publish your own dashboards, you can do unlimited coding, everything. You can do it on real-time basis and then see how you can optimize it, right? So keep doing that, keep practicing. That is what the key is, because that is how you will try to solve your own problems and become more and more efficient. I'll tell you one example, right? We have some SQL developers in our team, and many a times they can write SQL codes and they can extract the data. But what happens is this code running sometimes take, let's assume, 10 to 12 minutes. Now we don't have that much of a time to wait, especially when some decision making have to be done on a real-time basis and you're sitting with the senior management of the company. So now the work of this person is to optimize this code so that instead of taking 10-12 minutes, it should ideally take probably 5 minutes or even less than 1 minute. And how can that be done? Now this guy is what these experts basically now try to optimize these codes, and that is how this is run. Anyways, coming back to your question, guys, it's fine to go ahead and learn any of the languages. First thing first, don't try to master all the languages कि मैं R भी सीखूंगा, Python भी सीखूंगा, SQL भी सीख लूंगा, मतलब Tableau भी सीख लूंगा, Power BI ये वो मतलब सब कुछ सीखूंगा और उसके बाद इंडस्ट्री में जाऊंगा, ऐसा नहीं है. किसी एक चीज को पकड़ें, अपना try to find your own interest. If you're good with coding, get into SQL, उसको चाट जाओ एकदम, मतलब जितना बढ़िया से, क्योंकि एसक्यूएल के बाद किसी और लैंग्वेज को समझना इट जस्ट बिकम्स वेरी इजी, यू कैन कनेक्ट द डॉट्स, राइट, रादर देन स्पीकिंग 15 डिफरेंट लैंग्वेजेस, यू वुड ऑलवेज लव टू टॉक इन वन और टू लैंग्वेजेस, राइट। ये भी वैसे ही लैंग्वेजेस है कि दो लैंग्वेजेस इतनी अच्छे से आती हैं, इंग्लिश ऐसी आती है कि जब आप बोलो तो लोग सुने आपको, राइट। ऐसा नहीं है कि तेलुगु भी आ गई, पंजाबी भी आ गई, गुजराती भी आती है, हिंदी भी आती है, फ्रेंच भी आती है, सब कुछ आता है हमें, बट मैं बोल नहीं सकता, उसका कोई फायदा नहीं। So just try to learn and master each and every language. Or if you want to go into dashboarding, then maybe Tableau को सीख लीजिए, Power BI किसी एक को पहले तो सीख लीजिए, अपनी पूरी मास्टरी कर लीजिए उसमें, and then you try to get into other things. So that is what my recommendation would be.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Khatri, for the answer. We have another question with us.
Yeah.
What is the career path of a data analyst?
See, my dear friend, frankly, the answer to this, no one knows. Okay, but it all depends upon the leader that you are working with. See, I've seen this concern in industry, because I also keep on applying for various jobs, and not now, but in the past. So I once went for a position of a head of a data science, right? Now I asked this company that, okay, so they took some interview, everything was done. And then I asked him, okay, what are the 3 key projects that you want me to do? And they said, that's why we are hiring you. You will tell us what project we should do. I said, guys, you would have something in the mind, right? That's why you are hiring me. At least give me a couple of examples. I can come and add more, but kuch to hoga na aapke mind mein. But they had no idea. And then wild conversations and all that, I tried to understand that, okay, what exactly do you want me to do on day one? And then they said that we have a lot of reporting and automation requirements, and we want you to build on that. So I said, finally, you need a head of data. You don't need a data scientist as such, right? Data scientist ka to role bahut baad mein aayega, pehle data to samajh lo. So when companies have those kind of problems, then they are not very clear ki what career path is it to they're going to give to you. So always try and work in a company where there's already a head of business intelligence or head of data analytics or head of data, and talk to him, because he will have the clarity for you. And the typical role for a data analyst is first couple of years, just work at a very, very base level. डेटा क्लीनिंग कैसे करते हैं, डेटा की अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्या होती है, डेटा को ऑप्टिमाइज कैसे करना है, डेटा के व्यूज कैसे बनाने हैं, जस्ट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स. After 2 years, get into the role of a business analytics, where you say that, okay, now that I create all these reports and these go as an emailer or as a dashboards to different people, how are they consuming it? Be a part of that meeting. Try to sit with the marketing guy, sit with the product guy, sit with the operations guy, and see कि वो उस डेटा को रीड कैसे करते हैं. हो सकता है आपने तो 15 मैट्रिक्स शो किए हैं, लेकिन वो 2 ही देखते हैं, तो उनको बताओ कि यार ये 13 वेरिएबल्स का ऑलरेडी व्यू इज अवेलेबल, आई एम गिविंग यू दिस report, you see it, and let's sit together on this so that you get the business understanding and he gets the data understanding. And once you are having a very good understanding about, let's assume, only the operations side, then slowly start moving into the various other departments, and that is when you can go to the top of the career, where you can be a head of data and you can understand that typical metrics, how would a marketing guy versus operations guy versus a supply chain guy, they would look into this, because they 3 of them will have a very different perspective to the same problem.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Khatri, for that answer. The next question is, what are the industries that use data analytics the most?
Guys, by the way, these days, every industry needs data. There's no specific thing. But yes, if you have to ask me the most important ones, I would say definitely the insurance and the medical, because these two are like using data like anything. And I tell you the reason behind that. And third one is e-commerce, of course. And I tell you the reason behind this, insurance, because with the use of a data, they can reduce the premium by age groups, by demographics, by cities, by age, by medical history versus no history. And that is what they want to do. Because agar aapka premium, let's say you want to get into medical insurance, and a company says that, I charge 9,000 rupees for your medical insurance, and then the same company says after 2 months that, I am going to charge 8,500. There are higher chances you will buy for 8,500 because the premium is now lower. So, but coming to this value, there's need to be a lot of data analysis that should go. Medical, because they are trying to gauge if they can predict that, okay, Rajat, you are 42, based on your health conditions, I can predict that you might get a heart attack after 5 years, right? So in these 5 years, better get into a very healthy lifestyle, or I can tell you that you will have a liver problem or any other such thing. I don't want God to give me any such problem, but this is how medical is using the data. And e-commerce, because every minute a company is losing some revenue if there is an error or there is a problem in the platform, or there is the things are not well laid out on a platform, right? So guys here like you would be spending a lot of time on all these fashion apps, right? And you are checking for different products, jackets, suits, shoes, or clothing, right? Now at that point of time, what offer I can give to the consumer, what product I can show it to them, how quick can I do the delivery? Guys, have you ever thought that when you visit Zomato or Swiggy, and let's say you want to order maybe a meal, right? You check 3 different restaurants. One says I'll deliver in 37 minutes, another says I'll deliver in 39 minutes, and third says deliver in 41 minutes. There are very high chances you will go with the restaurant that will deliver in 37 minutes. So this 2 minutes additional is a revenue loss for that particular restaurant, right? And this is how the data is being used in these days, how I can improve this timing, how I can send this faster so that I get a better conversion and a more business.
Thank you, Mr. Khatri. We have one last question for you.
Yeah.
How does data analytics differ from data science?
Okay. So if you talk in a legal language, see, data analyst is more like he will just get into the data and try to figure it out. For example, as I gave you an question that, why is conversion rate down? So you will look at only the web analytics data and you will try to understand कि sir mobile devices में है, और मैंने आपको ये बता दिया कि लोग listing page से details page पे नहीं जा रहे, और मैंने आपको ये बता दिया कि last week there were some challenges in the checkout process and that's why it's reducing. So this is what a data analyst will do. The data scientist will more or less look into many more variables, in the sense, what was the pricing this week versus last week? What were the promotions that were being run this week versus last week? How much discount was being offered? What kind of an audience were we getting? How many high intent versus low intent users were coming? How many new versus repeat users were coming, and things like that, because there are so many factors to that. So data scientist gets into more or less each and every possible business metrics to come to a conclusion, whereas a data analyst will just look from that one angle that is being asked of him.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khatri.
Sure.
The session was very insightful. I'm sure the audience has enjoyed it thoroughly and learned so much from the session today.
Right.
We do have a lot of other questions that we can share you on email, and it will be really great if you could answer those questions.
Sure.
Thank you once again. You can now exit the webinar. Have a great day.
Thanks to each and every one of you, and thanks to EduBridge for giving this opportunity. Really honored. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.